Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, another RwS Dev Diary. Today we have a short one for you. I have done some changes to France, I've done some changes to the UK, in Africa, and I've also done some changes to UK in the mainland, in the Isles. Although I don't want to show that today just because I'd like to save that for a future video, so we're not going to touch on that just yet. But there are some changes in France and there are some changes in Africa, so let's get right to it. Alrighty, so first of all, I've kind of made some semi-1940 borders, didn't really pay too much attention to it, just clicked a couple buttons, cheated in. And as you can see, there is a change right here. This before ended about right there. I got a comment from someone yesterday that mentioned, hey, the Germans annexed a stretch right to the left of Geneva. I was like, what? I never heard of that. Sure enough, I go on and I look at a map of the breakup of France as I have before. I have it saved on my computer. And yeah, there's a small section right here. So I've added that now, and that changes these borders, of course, but I still think it looks quite good. It's nice to have that look a little different. I've also changed the placement of Geneva to be more accurate. I've changed these populations. A YouTuber commented on my video, actually, Sejo, who you might know, and he has commented a couple times, and this time he commented talking about what's the point if the populations aren't right, and I was like, oh, that's kind of embarrassing. You got me. That was just because I got excited and I filmed it before I fixed that. It was already fixed by the time he left that comment. I was like, oh, whoops, I wish I could go back and and change it. Maybe not. Probably not, huh? But here we are now. So that's all fixed. And looking quite well. Now also, I've changed the color of the French state slightly. I don't know if you remember what it looked like, but there you go, there's its African colonies as well. It's a little bit lighter, because I got a comment from someone that said, hey, why are they so grayed out and mixed, like how Netherlands are, or Belgium is? That doesn't really make sense to me, because they had a lot more autonomy. They were, of course, you could argue that they're not fully independent, but they had much more autonomy than a Reichskommissariat or a military government. So it does not make sense to have their color be so gray. So I was like, oh yeah, that's fair. But I also didn't want it to be so bright, because then you might as well just keep the normal Vichy colors, right? So I've tried to do a nice in between. Let me know what you think, if this is good or not, and we will figure that out together. But yeah, that is about it for there. But also I've changed this. And if we type in the event real quick. Haha, that's the wrong event. Whoops. Type in the event real quick. Before, this was given to a French state. Now, obviously, that would look even worse now with this border being as it was. But someone gave a good point that if Switzerland was to get annexed, it would be kind of weird for the French state and Germany to share a border, because that was a part of the whole reason for this military occupation here, was so that they would have a buffer. In a way. And so I was like, yeah, that's fair. I also saw someone that brought up the point of maybe it makes sense to give them an area that has some Swiss in it, because that would make France weaker. They would have to be dealing with that division. Now, I don't know which one is more true. Maybe you guys can talk about that in the comments together. But I've decided to give this, for now, to the military government instead. So if we click this and split Switzerland, say goodbye to Switzerland. Bye-bye. Oop, they're gone. Now that is given to the military government as well, and then you could look maybe in the future of that being given to Vichy once, the French state, once the war is over, or once they decide to pull out. So I think that is a good change in my opinion, and also you don't have to have a demilitarized zone here, because of course the Germans trust the Italians, or the Italians trust the Germans. Not really the same with the French. So that's good too, less eyesore on the map, I believe. But yeah, so that's it. So color changes there, a change to this province, and a change to this event right here. Very nice to see, if I do say so myself. Now, like I said before, there are some changes to the British Isles, and I'm going to talk about them right now just a little bit, like a small amount. And if you want to watch that, feel free to become a member. It's pretty cheap, it's like $3. And I will post the same version of this video, but just a little bit longer. I'll talk a little bit more in depth about stuff. So if that's something that interests you, there should be a link in the description, and of course on my YouTube page. But anyway, that is France all done. There is one more noticeable change, and to show that, we will click on the UK and scroll down, and you can see there's 2 extra dots here. And these are the new states. I've added 2 new states, that being the state of Swaziland and then the state of Basutoland, which nowadays you call Lesotho. I actually just found out now that this is called this was called Basutoland back then. Very cool. But anyway, these are 2 new states that were not in the vanilla game. I'm not sure why, because they show this as being a part of the UK, but they don't show these. And interestingly, these provinces are already in the game, and you can tell that these were meant to represent the actual countries here, or protectorates or whatever, because look at the provinces around them. Look how weird they are, look how off shape they are, and then this one is obviously special. This one's even more obvious. Look how long this is, look how long this is, look how long this is, and look how small that one is. So that really tells you. Look at that one too. So these were meant to be here. I don't know why they would toss them, if they just didn't want to make the countries for them, if they just considered them a part of South Africa, or what it was. But I've decided to include them here, and they still retain their stuff from before. So if I switch to the UK, they still have all their buildings and stuff, so that's cool. They still have populations, so I've split off the populations from there and there, and so that's cool. And they still have an air base, which is great. And they don't have their own countries yet. I have not added releasables yet, because first of all, it doesn't really warrant it quite yet, because it's kind of like a niche feature. It's just if you want to play with decolonize, I don't really see another reason for them to go independent. Although maybe I could do something with the with Free Britain once they collapse. These are like some states that pop away, or maybe there's some sort of rebellion in South Africa. Maybe actually a kind of Boer Republic thing. That would actually be pretty interesting. I wonder how realistic that would be. What kind of outcome that would have, if there's any way we could influence that as another nation like the US. It could go a lot of different ways. But anyway, so yeah, they're not all the way in yet, as in their countries, but they are in the states, which is pretty cool. If you are South Africa, I think it's nice to just have these here. And it's just another thing that Paradox hasn't done that now I have done. I've added the cities as well. Also, interestingly, there was no cities here. There were no victory points, even though this is a pretty big tile right here. Almost 600,000 people. So that's nothing to laugh at, but they didn't even have a small victory point. So I fixed that. But anyway, I think the main change is definitely here. I like that we changed this. I like that this was changed, although I still could see both ways why that would go the way that people argued, where it would stay with Vichy, and it would be kind of a punishment in and of itself. But I just feel it's better to make it so they don't have a border with Germany. Let me know what you think. Also, just side note, these borders look really cool. I'm quite happy with these. But anyway, that is about it for this video today. I hope you enjoyed. Pretty soon we're going to have a more in-depth video about Britain and their content, and also, interestingly, the USA. I won't tell much, but there will be a nice thing coming to the United States, the US. So keep an eye out for my video. If you see US in the title, jump in, because I'm actually pretty excited about it, and I think you should be too. Maybe you can guess what it is in the comments. I'm not sure. But yeah, that is about it. You have a good day. See ya.